Hey, do you ever struggle to get good sleep consistently and maybe you start wondering if it's affecting your fitness, your health, and your fat loss progress? Do you wonder how much does sleep actually matter for fat loss? And if it does, how much do you actually need? What happens if you don't get enough? And what can you actually do to fix it? Well, that's exactly what I am covering and breaking down in this video. Hey, I'm Lance, and since 2005, I've helped hundreds upon hundreds of high performing entrepreneurs, creators, and online professionals reset their metabolism, drop fat, build strength, and take back their edge without extreme diets or any gym bro tactics. So, I've got a question for you. Have you ever thought that nutrition and workouts are the only keys to fat loss? Well, what if that was true only if your sleep is actually dialed in? What if poor sleep sabotages your hormones? What if it crashes your metabolism? What if it actually wrecks your consistency? Well, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly why sleep is, in fact, the secret weapon for fat loss that most guys unfortunately ignore and overlook, and what you can do to finally fix it. Let me go ahead and pull up my screen here and show you. I've got some cool stuff to go through. So the whole key that we're talking about is sleep and fat loss. What do men 35 and over actually need to know? Because there's a lot of bullcrap that's out there. I want to make sure that we go through the things that are practical, that are going to be effective, and that are going to serve you. So we're going to go through a couple of these things here. Very first thing that you need to know, and this is something that this analogy I picked up recently, and it's something that is absolutely just amazing. So sleep is a gatekeeper for fat loss. Okay, I'm going to explain it. There are two gatekeepers, which are sleep and stress, and two workers for fitness and health. Okay, nutrition and movement are the workers, and sleep and stress are the gatekeepers. All right, if the gates are closed, the workers can't get through to do their job. Now, is this the way that the body actually works? Well, this is a metaphor. This is an analogy to understand how important sleep and stress are. But this is the whole key, is if you do look at sleep and stress like gatekeepers, if those gates are closed, all of the work, or at least a good amount of it, that you're doing through your nutrition and through your movement, your exercise, etc., is just not going to be playing the role that you hope that it would be. In other words, it can be or feel like a giant waste of time. Now, what do you need pertaining to sleep? Well, without at least 90 minutes of REM sleep and 2 hours of deep sleep, your body just isn't going to regulate hormones properly, okay? So energy restoration is going to come from your deep sleep. So that's the neck down, all right? That is going to be your body restoration, all right? And then it's going to affect your workouts. It's going to affect your consistency, energy. Now, mind restoration, or brain and cognitive function restoration, is going to happen from your REM cycle sleep. This is where you need at least 90 minutes, all right? If you're lacking that, if you're lacking the mind restoration from your REM cycle sleep, as you see here, your mood's going to suck. Your memory can suffer. Your focus is going to just totally be obliterated, and you're just going to feel almost like more ADD and more overstimulated than what you normally might feel. For me, I just feel like I just can't pay attention. I'm so lacking focus, and I just think, oh, more noise, more static. And it just is something I just can't get over when I lack that 90 minutes of REM cycle sleep, okay? So a lot of times you may be getting 6-7 hours of sleep, and you might be wondering, why am I feeling so groggy and so crappy in the morning? And why does it take me so much caffeine to get moving? I've done this forever. I don't understand. Well, the thing you need to know is that it's not just about the length of time. You want to start focusing and tracking your REM cycle sleep and your deep sleep, because this is going to be the real tale that's going to tell you what you need to improve upon. Now, I'll go through a little bit of what you can do to improve each of these, but these are the two main data points or markers that you want to focus on, okay? Now, what happens is when we get poor sleep, we're going to have lower thyroid, less testosterone production. Our ghrelin gets increased, which that's our hunger hormone. Our leptin is going to be off, which is going to start affecting our everything from how much, well, basically how full we feel. but you're not going to feel full enough if you've got leptin off, which means that you're going to end up giving in to cravings. On top of ghrelin making you hungrier, now leptin is keeping you from not feeling as full, and it also is going to affect other fat loss areas. You're also going to have decreased insulin sensitivity as well, all right? The reason is that poor sleep is going to increase your cortisol. And when cortisol is in the bloodstream, it is going to greatly diminish and reduce how your hormones from your digestive enzymes to, again, thyroid, testosterone, all these things are going to be impacted to some degree or another, okay? Even your cognitive function. All right. So when we have increased cortisol, we also have more water retention. We have increased cravings. We have more belly fat storage. There's so many more things that go on. But again, for the sake of the video, I'm going to keep it short. Now, the other thing that you need to know is that your resting metabolic rate, also known as your BMR or your RMR, literally can drop up to 15 to 20% when you are consistently not sleeping well. So that means that your fat loss is slower even when you are eating within a calculated deficit. So that means that you might be like, well, I was eating, let's say, 2,000 calories compared to the 3,000 I'm used to, and I just stopped losing weight. I stopped losing body fat. This is, again, because of what this is doing hormonally and the fact that we're creating more cortisol and we are decreasing how our body functions and the way that it should function optimally, okay? So that is why sleep, we call it a gatekeeper. Stress is as well. I'll be talking very soon about stress. Might even be on the next video. Now, the next thing you need to know is there are lifestyle habits that will absolutely wreck your sleep. We're going to talk about those. And then on part 3, we're going to talk about what you can do to begin, and I mean in a practical sense, what you can do to begin optimizing your sleep, but not just so you sleep better, so you perform better, and so you start getting better fitness results, better fat loss, increased muscle, more strength. All of these things are going to play a role. But let me just tell you something. As somebody, I've been on testosterone replacement therapy for 9 years, somewhere around there. And every time that I've gotten off of testosterone, I start feeling pretty dang crappy, okay? Now, I have one of those. It's same as my dad, my grandpa, my brother as well. Every time that we've decreased our testosterone, as far as what we're taking in, mine has dropped lower than 200. Okay, now if you don't know what that means, that's okay. You can look it up. But the point is, it's lower than 200. What I'm making the correlation is every time that my testosterone levels start dropping lower than, I'd say, 350, 400, I start feeling less aggressive. I start feeling more lethargic. I start feeling lazier, like I've lost my drive, like I don't have the ability to get stuff done like I normally do. So yes, it's going to play fat loss and all of this, but if you're feeling like that, like you've lost your drive at times, this is absolutely something that you want to be focusing on to increase and improve and optimize your testosterone, your thyroid, etc. Don't make it harder on yourself because you're sleeping like crap. Anyway, I digress. All right, so the lifestyle habits that are going to wreck your sleep. Number 1 is going to be late night screen time, okay? It's going to delay your melatonin release. It's going to wreck your REM part of your sleep, which is for the mind. Stimulants. Now, again, for the last 20 years, I have used pre-workout. I used to use like 400 milligrams of caffeine. Now I use 200 and under most days, and some days not even at all. Since learning all of this stuff, we'll kind of get into it. I've changed all kinds of things, and it has not been really that hard. Everything has been beneficial each time that I've adjusted. So caffeine, pre-workouts, anything after 2 p.m. Now, if you get up, if you sleep later, it might be 4 p.m. But the key is after around the afternoon, it's going to disrupt your sleep, your how long it takes you to fall asleep, and the quality of staying asleep. The other thing is going to be not having an evening wind down routine. All right. So again, where you're not slowing down, and this is something I'm really guilty about because I enjoy what I do for work. I love building softwares and creating all kinds of things and creating content. And so for me, I'll stand in front, like I have a big computer screen right here to my left, and I'll sit in here at my desk, for hours, sometimes till 1, 2 a.m. And then trying to go to sleep, I've got myself all razzed up where I'm like, oh man, I'm excited. I'm all, just basically, just energy peaked. And then trying to go to sleep, it may take me till 4 a.m. when I have that habit and that behavior. So my encouragement is don't behave like I do whenever I'm in my creative zone at late at night. It doesn't really bode well for sleep. And if you're not able to make that sleep up that you lost by sleeping later, it is going to affect your performance. Okay. Okay. So eating right before bed, I've been so guilty about this as well. Guys, I'm going to tell on myself on all these things because this was, for 30 years, I've struggled with sleep. When I do these things, my sleep is noticeably better. My performance during work hours is better. My performance during my workouts is insanely better. Everything is better, not to mention the fact that I feel less irritable, less irrational, more logical, less emotional when I'm getting adequate sleep and doing some of these things, okay? So eating right before bed, especially high-fat meals, can disrupt your sleep. Now, you'll see here in a second, I'm going to talk about high GI as well. So high fat and high glycemic index carbs are both going to affect your sleep in different ways. But for high glycemic index carbs, which are going to be carbs that are going to be higher or more rapid glucose release or sugar release, and so this is going to, when you have high carbs or high GI carbs before bed, you're going to spike your blood sugar. You're going to increase the insulin because when blood sugar spikes, insulin rises up to shuttle that blood sugar or that glucose into the fat cell instead of the muscle when we're eating too high of glucose style carbs, GI, okay? So that can then delay your melatonin, and that's going to make it again harder to fall asleep and harder to stay asleep. I have literally gone through this. I'm not trying to use the word literally, but I want you to know, like, I have gone through this specific thing and tested the difference between eating high fat, eating high glycemic index carbs, or not eating at all. Last night, I chose 2 hours to follow this. I did not eat, and I slept much, much better, okay? I had almost 2 hours of REM cycle sleep compared to a couple of nights before that where I only had like 70, okay? It does make a big difference. Okay, now what you need to know though is eating too close to bedtime is going to force your body to focus on digestion when it should be recovering, when it should be going into that restore mode. If it is digesting, do you think your deep sleep is going to be as deep? Not at all. You're probably going to stay in light or what's known as core sleep. It's just not going to bode well for you. Okay. Where did I just lost my place there? Oh yeah, hormone regulation I already mentioned, and cellular repair. For me, when I notice my deep sleep is not good, like last night, I had awful deep sleep. That had good REM sleep, not good deep sleep, and I know, had a few different things I wasn't able to get done. A little bit of stress, that sort of playing a role. Okay, but with that being said, I feel like my joints hurt. I'm more achy when I don't get enough deep sleep. So if you're noticing that too, it may be what's going on. Alcohol, there's another one. It may help you fall asleep because it's going to make you a little bit tired, but it does reduce your deep and your REM sleep cycles. I've tested this one as well. I did this a couple weeks ago, and I didn't have much to drink, just a little bit. I wanted to test it. So anyway, it was, I definitely fell asleep. And then when I looked at my watch and all the tracking, it said that even though I slept 7 hours, I had like 29 minutes of deep sleep and I think like 49 of REM. Absolutely insane. I realize this is anecdotal, but I want to share these things with you because I've done this professionally for 20 years. I want to share all the things so that way you are benefiting by coming to this channel too. So, alcohol definitely is going to be, I'm not telling you to avoid it altogether. I'm telling you to be just cognizant of what you're doing. The other thing, guys, and it might sound silly, but carrying excess body fat. If you are carrying excess body fat where your body fat is not in a healthy range, you are not going to sleep well. You're not going to sleep as good. It's body fat is a form of inflammation. This can worsen your breathing during your sleep, of course. Not to mention the fact that your hormones are going, like when your body fat is higher, your testosterone and thyroid production is going to be lower just in and of itself. So this is going to, again, make your deep sleep harder to reach, and it's going to make your quality much more difficult to attain, okay? So what are the fixes here? Now, I probably should have covered some of these up, but you can just see them. I didn't want it to be super overwhelming, but, we're going to go through it. Okay, so there are some simple fixes that are going to improve your sleep. Guys, please take these seriously because I started doing this a while back and having my clients do this, and I have them track like their HRV, their deep sleep, their REM cycle sleep. And when you look, it's so crazy. I'll have somebody go like, "Oh man, my weight, spiked up." And then you go and look and you see, "Oh, your HRV, which represents stress, that's up." Or I'm sorry, that'd be down, but it's out of whack. And then you look at deep sleep and you see, "Oh, your deep sleep's low." And then you look at, several of these other factors and you go, "Oh, wow, these variables are definitely seeming to be out of what we suggest every time you notice that your weight is up despite eating well or doing your workouts." Okay. So take that for what you will. So what do I recommend? I'm going to recommend, and these are things that I do. These are things that I teach my clients. So creating a 30 to 60 minute wind down routine, I recommend 60 to an hour, but we want you to start with 30 to 60. 60 is definitely more the ideal than 30, but if you're not used to that, like I wasn't, 30 is more than enough to get you started. Dim your lights, kill the screens, and do calming activities. What do? I typically will use, my hips get tight, I work at a desk, I stand all the time. So what I will do is I will find the corner, so maybe like a corner back here, and this one's not a good idea, but corner of the wall, corner of the room rather, and I will start opening up my pecs by stretching and rotating, getting external rotation so that my traps, all this can start relaxing. Number two is I start stretching out my hamstrings, piriformis, which is part of the glutes, and hip flexors and a few other things on my bed. My bed's a little high, so I throw my leg up there and I start deep stretching, listening to an audiobook or classical music, and this has now become my calming activity. Let me tell you something, it is so effective. Then once I'm done doing that and I'm done being physical and I'm ready to lay down, I stopped falling asleep or going to bed with the TV on until I'm tired, because that was wrecking my deep and REM cycle sleep. Now what I do is I have a I was hoping it was in here. I'll grab a book, like this is the book that I'm reading now. It's the third, fourth time I've read it, but I like reading stuff that helps me to, like, I'm thinking, I'm relaxing, and once I start realizing I'm not comprehending anything I just read on that page, I set my book down, kill the light, and I'm done. Now I have like a book light that goes in this, and it just attaches. You guys have all seen the little book lights, but this one has a warm light setting. So there's cold, neutral, and warm. When I use warm, I feel so much less overstimulated and I sleep better. Okay, just sharing a couple things for you guys. I just want this to help. Now the other thing too, please don't sleep on this. Pun fully intended. Brain dump or journal. My favorite is brain dumping. Why? Because most of us, and a lot of my high performing clients will say, "Lance, I feel like I just can't sleep. And once I wake up, my brain is just going nuts. There's nothing I can do. I've tried it all." And I'm like, "You've not tried it all. Trust me. I thought that too." You want to brain dump before you go to bed. I would recommend at least an hour. 2 is even better. 3 is even better. So that way, what happens is, the way that I've always described this is, have you ever had your computer screens open where, like, you've got Safari, Chrome, whatever it is, you've got like 18 tabs open? Now, I hate that, but my wife does that a lot. And I'm like, "Lauren, what are you doing? Like, your computer's running so slow." It's because you've got like 40,000 tabs open. Well, those tabs open are causing the RAM of the computer to work harder, where it's basically spreading all of it out. That's the same thing that happens for us when we go to sleep without doing a brain dump. We've got too many browser tabs open up in our mind, so we go to sleep with what I've always called it open loop syndrome, which means that you might be thinking, like, earlier in the day, got to get that done, got to get that done. How will I do that? Okay, I'll figure it out. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night or before you go to sleep, that tab reminds you that it's open, kind of flickers for you, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, I don't have that thing done. Oh, go back to sleep. Go back to sleep." And it's already too late because you already started consciously thinking about this problem. So a good thing to do is going to be writing down 333, which is going to be 3 things that went well for the day, that you got done, that you wanted to accomplish, 3 things that you would like to have gone better or that you wanted to do differently, and then 3 things that you need to get done over the next day or week. When you get these things done like this, it's going to clear out that, let's say, proverbial browser space or browser tabs. It closes them, and you get the cognitive restoration that you need and deserve, okay? prayer, breath work, and gratitude. Okay. Now, for me, prayer is my home base, Bible is my home base, and that's where I'm going to lean towards. So, prayer, again, like I probably will do some videos on why prayer works so much when it comes to on a neurological sense. There's some amazing things. I won't get into all of that on this, but prayer is an amazing one. Breath work, my favorite is what I've learned to be called four corner breathing, where you're going to do 4 breaths in, pause for 1 when you've got your breath in, 4 out. You don't have to make it like this. I'm trying to emphasize so you can hear it. And then you pause once you've breathed out. Now, the key is I've learned to evacuate or exhaust all of my air from my diaphragm. So it's not like, okay, I'm done. It's more. And as you do that, those muscles begin to relax more. As that happens, you're also going to mitigate some more of the knots or adhesive tissue within your back, your muscles, etc. So breath work is a good one. Gratitude is huge. I don't mean the modern new age version of gratitude where people are like, doggone it, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for trees and grateful. It needs to have freaking meaning to you, and it needs to be something that almost gets you emotional. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful to be able to do what I love for a living. In focusing on this, when you focus on gratitude, studies show that it greatly, greatly reduces some of the, excuse me, the worry, the anxiety, and the focus on the gap of where you are versus where you want to be. It's amazing, okay? So the reason this works, though, is it lowers your sympathetic nervous system tone, takes you out of fight or flight response, puts you in parasympathetic nervous system tone, where you are more in rest, relaxation state, okay? Let me check how long this video is. I want to make sure I'm not getting too long. I turn into, 21. All right, we're going to keep moving, guys. I'm gonna blast through pretty quick. Natural supplements, ashwagandha, magnesium glycinate, that's a favorite of mine. L-theanine, glycine is another favorite of mine. Calming teas, chamomile and lavender, I really enjoy. There's a few others also. These can really help. It's not just like, oh, that sounds like it would help. I promise you, when you're doing these other things, those supplements can make such a big deal. If you struggle with both sleep and stress, ashwagandha is an amazing one, along with magnesium glycinate, okay? This is going to also mean no creating dependency, no brain fog, like Unisom and Benadryl and all those things. Guys, I used to be on trazodone. I was on like 100, maybe 120 milligrams of that crap. Absolutely insane. I would wake up so just weirdly lethargic and foggy. It sucks, all right? Glycine, what is it going to do? It's going to lower your core body temperature and promotes deeper sleep, especially helpful if taken an hour before bed. 3 grams is what's recommended. I've taken upwards of 5. Just, again, I'm 220 pounds. Just research and make sure you're using the right amount. But glycine is an amazing one. I found that one about 5 years ago and started taking it. It made a big, big difference. L-theanine, this is going to boost your alpha brain waves, put you in a calmer mental state, again, helping you for sedation, okay? Well, it says without sedation, but for me, I call that sedation when I'm being able to feel like, oh, good, I'm falling asleep. When I wrote without sedation, we're talking about without having like the horse tranquilizer like a trazodone. So maybe should word that a little different. But for me, I like to feel that calmer state where I start feeling sedated and like, oh, I'm drifting off, okay? Maybe there's a better word for that. Magnesium glycinate, this is a really good one. I've got one that even when I pour it in, it's a powder, gives me a little bit of like a sparkling water effect, which is really cool. That little nice one. That's going to reduce your nighttime wake up. So if you are waking up in the middle of the night, magnesium glycinate is your key for that one. Ashwagandha, again, this is an adaptogen that is going to help with cortisol regulation. And if you are more of that type A high performer, I am not, you are definitely going to want ashwagandha. Now, I do tend to be a little bit more high strung when in stressful environments. So ashwagandha definitely helps me. I don't notice it the first week or two. I notice it more like 3, 4, 5 weeks. But do stick with it. It makes a big, big difference. Herbal teas, again, it really just promotes the parasympathetic activation. And especially when you put it into a ritual habit, it's going to help you where you're like, ooh, I'm enjoying my tea. It's warm. It's nice. I'm sitting. It creates this environment that is also going to be conducive for falling asleep and staying asleep too. And then another one, guys, don't pass this one up. consistent bedtime and wake time. All right. Your circadian rhythm is a big deal, and you can reset your circadian rhythm simply by killing all lights and electronics for 5 to 7 days, like going camping. You can reset it entirely. I've still yet to do this in the last 5 or 6 years. I would love to, but it does help tremendously. So going to bed consistently and making yourself wake up at the same time really, really helps for your deeper cycles. So in summary, guys, working on improving your deep sleep, your REM sleep, and your duration of sleep will not only help with energy, with mood, with recovery, but it really, really can help to basically fill in the gaps to improve your fitness results, your fat loss, your performance, all because you're doing this stuff, all right? So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you found this helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button, and feel free to share this so that others can learn this material too. If you've got any questions, drop those below, and don't forget to check out the links as well. Thank you guys, and I will see you on the next one. I will likely be covering stress, the other gatekeeper, and I've got some really awesome stuff there. I used to have blackout panic attacks, crippling anxiety, so I'm going to share my chuckle at that because it's just like, it was so bad that it almost seems out of a movie. I'll share that another time. So again, guys, just make sure you tune into that one if you've ever battled that anxiety, or that just like waking up in fight or flight, just constantly feeling like your hair and your nerves are on fire. Thank you guys so much. We'll catch you on